Hey folks, I'm here at Fish USA headquarters with Chuck Earls from Lake Erie Kayak Fishing, and Chuck's taken off a couple days of his busy guide schedule to host me for some walleye fishing out on Lake Erie. Before we head out there, I wanted to pick up some supplies just to make sure I have everything that I need. I know Fish USA's got a great selection, so we'll hop in there and you can help me pick out the right stuff that we're going to need to catch some Lake Erie walleye.
Yeah, let's go. I love coming to Fish USA because it's my one-stop walleye shop. Whether it's stick baits, snap weights, trolling spoons, blade baits, it doesn't matter, they have it all. Most of the stuff that you find in the pro shop is geared towards the local fishery. Over 95% of their product is actually back in the warehouse. If you can't find what you need in the pro shop, just put an order in and they'll quickly pick it out of the back.
We're getting ready to head out there. Just want to kind of go over my kayak rig with you real quick. Bow to stern. On the front I have just a standard net, very large net. We do chase large walleye out here, so I don't want to have the winning fish and not have a net big enough, so I have a very large net on there. Extends out, nice basket. On top of that, the 32-inch catch carbonate board. Indestructible, nothing better on the market. Get you a good measurement. This is the pedal drive system. Now I started out in a Wilderness Systems Pungo paddle kayak. So I used to go out here, paddle around 10 miles. You know, it's very exhausting, especially on a windy day. Then I upgraded to the pedal drive, and the pedal drive really changed the game for me. It enabled me to get out here in rougher conditions and cover a lot more ground. But I still wasn't able to do what the boat guys do, and that's, you know, look here, if the walleye's not here, motor over there, find the walleye there, or motor over to a different spot. So that's really where the Torqeedo Ultralight 1103 comes in. Is this motor enables me to not only get out 4, 5, 6 days a week and not be exhausted, but it enables me to cover a lot more ground and actually find the walleye. Because, you know, the reason that you get skunked, it's not because you can't catch fish, it's just because you didn't have enough time to try everything that you had. It enables me to do that. You know, we can start here, we can motor 6 miles down the shoreline, check that spot there, and scout along the way. Yeah, we're definitely out scouting today. The point of today is kind of get some new waypoints, some new areas to target, especially when the fish move or the fish get tight-lipped in the usual spots.
Right.
And you know, the other part of it is a lot of times people, they will reach out to me because they're new to the area, they just moved here and they want to learn the fishery quick. So they want to go out where their closest launch point is. So I try to tailor it to that. You know, if you live close to the Western Basin, well, let's go out your closest point where you're going to be fishing. Let's get you some waypoints, you know, and some familiarity for where you're going to be fishing. And then the rest of it's just technique, which you can use anywhere. So I figure you're going to start out with a couple of stick baits, a couple different presentations. You have the Bandit, the Blue Shiner on the one side, and then you're going to use the Rapala Tail Dancer, I believe, on the other side, right?
Yep.
And then I'm going to run a True Trip 40 with a glow-in-the-dark white crawler harness on that one. That's the True Trip 40. That gets down to 40 foot. There's, I believe there's 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s, relatively. And then this is called a worm burner. It's a kind of like a Stinger spoon, and then it has a worm harness on the back. Pink lemonade, definitely a hot color. The white, the yellows, the pinks, they love that color. So I'm gonna run that one on that side, and then on the other side, I have the same True Trip 40 on there, and I have a white front and back white worm harness on there. And this is glow in the dark as well. A lot of times the back sides will be reflective to reflect the bead color. With this, it's white. Should give it a nice presentation, and I always do well on white. Keeper walleye. It's the first keeper walleye there. We got, oh, he's trying to get away. We got 18 1/4. So, nice keeper. We're gonna go ahead and put him on the stringer. That way we'll cook Jeff up some fresh walleye today. So the way that I like to run my harnesses, you notice I have 3 hooks on there. In Ohio, we're allowed 3 hooks per line. So I go ahead and I put a stinger hook on the end, because sometimes the walleye come in and they short strike it, or sometimes, especially if you have 100, 120 foot of line out, sometimes the walleye will come off because you're using a single hook. So I'll put a stinger on there just to increase the hookup ratio. Next thing you want to do is get a nice long crawler, and you're gonna just kind of nose hook it up here. Sometimes I do wrap it and just give it an extra spot to stick through. Especially if there's a lot of smaller fish, white perch and stuff like that, that nip at it and grab the crawler. And then you just kind of stretch the crawler out, bring the second hook, give it a little bit of room so that the worm will move. And then the third hook, the stinger, I'm going somewhere by the tail. That way, when that fish comes in and short strikes, it actually gets that treble hook back there. So that's how it's gonna go. That blade in the front creates a little bit of noise, a little bit of knock and vibration in the water, and they come in to investigate and they smell the crawler. Fish on. Came off in the net. All right, guys, got the second keeper walleye. That's probably a little over 15, maybe 16. Let's see what it goes. We're at 15 3/4. So that's a keeper. Probably go ahead and throw him in the pan. That came off of the white worm harness that I showed you earlier. Just white front and back, this glow in the dark. Trolling speed, I was about 2.1 to 2.3. Nice thing about the Torpedo is it has the GPS, so I know exactly what speed I'm going. It's really nice when you're trying to dial in the bite.
Got one on the stick bait. Good fish.
Nice.
Real nice one.
Oh yeah.
Cool. Very nice fish on the stick bait you pointed out.
That was
what were the numbers? We had the clip weight 35 feet back, and then 35 more feet, so 70 feet out. Nice fish. That was fun.
Haha.
All right, there's my first Lake Erie walleye. It's a nice one, I think.
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy with that. That was fun.
That's probably what, 23, 24 inches?
I guess. I'll let her breathe a second, but I guess it doesn't matter because we're gonna stringer them and have it for dinner. That stick bait, and then this is a 2-ounce clip weight. So I let this back 35 feet. This goes back 35 feet, then I clip this on, and I let another 35 feet out, so it's 70 feet back. So that's the setup. Right, you gotta get this one on the stringer as well.
Yep.
So good spot, man, for never having been here to load up on 4 of them pretty quick like that is pretty cool.
Yeah, we found a good mess of fish. We don't want to beat up on them too much. You know, we're just kind of exploring today, and we have plenty for the skillet. Jeff, actually, this is his first ever Lake Erie walleye, and he's got the 2 biggest fish of the day. So it's definitely a successful trip, but there's still plenty of fish to catch. So let's go. Put this guy on a stringer. Good mess of fish.
Okay. Fish on! Ooh. I think I got a steelhead.
I see it, jump!
It's actually on this side. Missed it. Got him.
Nice.
On the hard bait.
Was it a steelhead?
Yeah, man. It's, you know, I'm thinking walleye, and then it takes off and I'm like, maybe it's a catfish, but I'm like, it's too fast and it's not rolling. That's so cool. Cool.
Let's see, turn it.
First Lake Erie walleye, and then first Lake Erie steelhead. I don't know if we count the steelhead we got last fall as a Lake Erie fish, even though it really was.
Well, it was up in the river already, you know. We're remember this morning I said there's a possibility.
Yeah, there it is. It's a good one.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm gonna set this down, come over and get a couple good pictures.
All right, let's see. It's a little over 5 pounds. So I've been seeing a lot of that. Marks at about 29 feet, which is good, is with the clip weights and the jet diver. You know, we're right in that range. So we're kind of covering open water right now, hoping to intercept some of these fish. So when people see these motors, they really want to know 2 things right off the bat. One is, how fast will it make the kayak go? 2, how long will the battery last? How fast you go is dependent on how much weight's on the boat, how long the boat is, and some other factors. This particular boat is a 14-foot sit-on-top kayak, and I can top out at 7.4 miles per hour. Most kayaks, most recreational or fishing design kayaks, you're going to be between 6.5 and say 6.8, 6.9 is pretty common. I think Chuck gets 6.8 in his Predator. But if you do that and you go at full speed, you're not going to have hours and hours of use. You know, if you're going the speeds that we're going, and right now I'm going 2.3 miles per hour, and I have 80% of the battery remaining, it's saying that I have 26.4 miles of remaining range. You know, you divide that by, you know, by what I've already used, basically you have over 15 hours of I'd say walleye trolling speed or more each day. So I doubt very highly that Chuck ever runs a battery down to nothing. My personal record for the longest day that I've had with the 915 watt-hour battery that comes with the motor is I've covered 41.8 miles. And that was on the Chesapeake Bay in Maryland, and we were trolling for striped bass. It's very similar to what we're doing out here. We averaged about 2.8 miles per hour, so a little bit faster. But we also had tides, and we used the tides in our favor to go with the tide and with the wind where we could.
So quite often we find ourselves out here with large vessels like that, or even large barges out here. So it's very important to stay visible. It's very important to stay visible with the safety flag I actually have a bright chartreuse green shirt underneath my rain gear. That helps the boat see us because we are low to the water. We're tough to see, especially in a little bit of chop, your boat disappears. So having that flag 5 to 6 foot off of the deck of your kayak helps keep you out of harm's way. Now, the flip side, we are trying to stay very visible. If by chance they still don't see us, it's always good to carry just a little air horn. Keep it on your PFD. That way, if the boat's coming at you and you need to, you can signal them and have a chance for them to hear it over their loud motors. We got 40 foot, actually a little bit of head shake. It might be a walleye though. It doesn't feel like a drum. 27 foot back. We're gonna that's getting close. I'm gonna go ahead and stop the motor. I try to keep going to keep my lines going back so I don't get twisted. And he is right here. Oh yeah, that's a nice walleye. Not a bad fish. That was on the that white worm harness, and if you look, the 2 harness hooks are outside the mouth. You know what he hooked on was that stinger. So he's got the stinger down in his gullet. There's our walleye. Open. Open.
Does that work? No.
Beautiful, healthy fish. Nice color. That guy's what, 19, 20 inches?
21.
21.
Nice, man.
So, I guess we will we'll eat that guy too.
One of the things we do out here on Lake Erie is we always bleed out our fish. That does a couple of things. A lot of people say that it makes your fish taste better, but most importantly, when you're cleaning your fish, you don't have all that blood all over your fish cleaning table. It's a lot cleaner. Plus, it just executes the fish very quickly. So I take my NRS Copilot knife, I come into the gills, and I just slice them. And then I let it sit in the water for 5-10 minutes. And that'll flush all the blood out of the system, and you'll get actually a very white meat out of it. So we made it out to 55 foot of water. This is the target location that we wanted to hit for the day. Judging from the Navionics app, we are 4.3 miles from shore. Now we came from the west, about 3 miles from the west, so we came about 7 miles across. Using the torpedoes to easily motor out here. Obviously checking the weather apps, checking all the live buoys, the live streams and everything while we motored out, just to make sure that everything was safe. So a little bit of storms in the area. We do have some clouds coming over Cleveland, but that is actually passing us. That's going along the lake shore. So we're good to go. We're way out here looking for the big fish.
See what we got here. So yeah, that just barely swings to, it's just shy of 23. I think it's 22 and a half anyways, almost 22 3/4. That was fun. Another one on the stick bait. I think for me anyways, that one's getting the better fish.
That's Blue Shiner.
Blue Shiner.
That's a stock color. Available at Fish USA.
Nice. Hey, 22 and a half incher out in 55, a little over 55 feet of water, over 4 miles out. So we got enough for dinner. We're gonna let this guy go back. Let someone else catch her. What's happening, man?
Well, we got that storm blowing in over there, coming out of the southwest. It's pretty much blowing right at us according to the radar.
Yeah, we can feel all the air rushing towards it.
Right. And a little bit of yellow on the radar, so might be some lightning, might be a thunderstorm. We definitely don't want to get caught in, so this is all part of the plan. We're just going to pull up lines and just motor in closer, so if it does start lightning, we can motor in real quick, get out of harm's way. Nice.
Let's do it.
One of the things that I always teach when we're out here is to always keep your head on a swivel. You want to watch on the horizon. Make sure you catch the storm before it gets up upon you. Because if you're too busy fishing, you're too busy being distracted, all of a sudden that storm's on you, you don't have time to motor in. Now, fortunately, we knew the storm was coming. I was watching for it. We got plenty of time to motor in. I have 45% of my battery still left, so I have plenty of time to just hunker down, motor in full speed, and get out of harm's way.
We're back at my house. We're gonna do a catch and cook. I have the fish here. We're gonna clean them up real quick, and then they're going straight to the frying pan. The best time to eat the fish is right after you catch it. What I do is I just come right behind the fins down here, cut straight down diagonally, come back here, down to the spine. Flip it. And that takes the skin off. Then here on Lake Erie, we always cut out our belly meat. If there's going to be any kind of contaminants, it's going to be on the belly portion of the fish in most cases. So we just go right behind the rib cage, cut that out. And basically that's what you cook. We'll go ahead and take out this lateral line. So we're going to do what's called zippering. We're going to notch here. One on both sides. A pair of pliers makes it a little bit easier. Grab that. And you're going to rip it. Just like that. And it's called zippering because basically it kind of zippers off. Now, right here by the belly, that didn't come off. We're going to just go ahead and slice that out of the way. And then we are frying this meat, so we're just going to chunk it. And it's ready. Notice how white the meat is. That's from bleeding it out. You know, you get all that blood out of the meat, and then you don't have to deal with it on the table, and your meat is a lot cleaner. All right, so I try to use every piece of the fish, even if I'm not going to eat it. So I don't throw my walleye or my fish guts in the trash. I throw them in my compost pile, and then they eventually go into my garden. I do throw a couple of pieces into the worm garden. Now, there's probably a couple in here. I mean, if you break this up, but a lot of babies. I've been pulling them out of here for a while, but I'll take a little piece of scraps. There we go. Just like a couple little pieces like that. Not really any bones. You could throw the bones in there.
And I just throw it in there like that just to give the worms something else to eat. Plus, you know, worms eat walleye, walleye eat worms, kind of making a circle there. So, but yeah, everything goes in the compost. Whatever we don't eat goes back into the earth. It's basically a three-part process. First thing we're going to do, we're going to rinse the walleye off first. We just cleaned it. So we're just going to give it a quick rinse. Then let it drip a little bit. It's going to go into the flour. We're going to coat it both sides with the flour. Then from the flour, we're going to go into the egg. From the egg, what I was going to do was Italian breadcrumbs and panko breadcrumbs, but I'm out of panko, so we're going to do a little bit of a mixture with Ritz crackers. These are awesome on walleye. And some Italian seasoning, breadcrumbs. Throw it in there, and that's basically going to be the crust. Then from there, we're going to go into the pan with a little bit of coconut oil. I like coconut oil. It has a higher flash point. It doesn't really bubble and, you know, pop back at you. Plus, it's healthier. So doesn't matter whether you like coconut or not. I'm not really a big fan of coconut, but you can't taste it, so try it out. All you do is just crumple that up. Mix a little bit of that.
There we go. So we're going to enjoy these, and then Chuck, I think we need to look at some of your bookmarks for wind forecast. What are the other ones you use? I mean, you have some live cams that look out onto Lake Erie. What else? Let's look at all that stuff after we eat, and you know, kind of make some decisions about where we're exploring tomorrow.
Sounds good. All right, so I just want to go over a couple of resources that I religiously use just to prepare me for being out there on Lake Erie, and also just to check conditions while I'm out there, just to make sure. So the first one, windfinder.com. Whatever app you use, Windfinder, iWindsurf, there's a bunch of different ones out there. Whatever one you use, just stick with that one. Learn how that one interprets the forecast, and just get a basic understanding with that one. So I like Windfinder. I know it the best. It's usually pretty accurate for me, and I can see the trends up here. I can see what Lake Erie's been doing, the directions and the wave height. So that's a good resource to plan it. You always want to check it the morning of. Everything changes when you're sleeping. Next one is going to be Accuweather. Accuweather is great for the forecast as well as the radar. Real time, you know, while you're out there on Lake Erie, if you see some clouds approaching, pop open the radar and just see what's going on. You know, because you don't want to get caught out there in a thunderstorm or a windstorm or anything like that. So you want to use your real time resources to, you know, mitigate the situation, to figure out what's going on. Another one I use, and this is more for like when I'm planning a trip, is there's live streaming cameras all over the lakeshore, all up and down from, I think, from Michigan all the way to Erie, PA. They just put a couple in up there, I believe. So Google it. You can find a camera that is kind of close to where you're going to launch, and get to know that. Get to know the area. So on this footage, even though it's dark,
I've been to this spot so often, I've looked at this camera angle so often that I know that there's 8 to 10 foot boulders or 8 to 10 foot rocks here to try to, as a wave break. So you can see what the waves are doing. There's a little bit of chop. There's probably 1 to 2s out there if I had to guess, just by looking at the camera and the way that it's breaking over those rocks. So familiarize yourself with that. That way you can sit on your couch and you can say, hey, is the forecast really what it says it's supposed to be? You know, what's the lake doing? Also, quick tip, if you hit it right around sunset, you can actually watch the sunset live on the live streaming cameras, which that's really cool, especially on like stormy days. Last but not least, the National Data Buoy Center. There's live weather buoys out on Lake Erie that give you accurate information. So we can pull this up. We can see what our wind speed is. I believe this one is 5 miles offshore. You can see what your current wind speed is. You can see what the wave height is, actually 5 miles offshore. So you can see what's approaching you and what situation that you're going to be in. So if you feel a change, the wind starts changing, the direction, the wind speed, you see some clouds, you feel something, you feel some pressure changes or some electricity or something like that, pull open your resources, just get a good understanding of the weather. Because honestly, like, that's how you learn. That's how you create your basic understanding of what's going on out there, because we're slow moving vessels. We don't want to get caught out there in the wrong weather. So keep your head on a swivel, always watch for it. You want to spot it before it spots you, and have time to get out of the way.